Whew. Here we go. Okay, people, welcome back to another Foosh Weekly. As always, I'm Robo. I don't know what to do with my hands, and I'm not going to bore you with the whole holy moly. There's a lot of stuff to talk about this week because you already know that. You follow all this stuff too. We're just here to have a good time, talk about some toys, forget about the world for a minute. So as a wise man once said, hey, Dr. Jones, no time for love. And yes, that's the actual quote. Blitzway has announced that they will be giving the full solicitation info for their, I was going to say big ass Voltron, but we don't know that yet, do we? All we have are some pictures and some teases. They announced that they will be putting out more information on this in July, which isn't that far away. That doesn't mean they're going to stop giving us little tastes, little teases to keep our appetites up to, oh my god, what's going on here? This week they released a video showing that the lions do transform back and forth from lion to limb, or torso. Well, they didn't show the torso, they're just limbs, huh? We had speculated that was the case when we saw pictures from Wonder Festival showing the lions and Voltron, but it's nice to see it in action, even digitally, but ooh, it's nerve-wracking. Nerve-wracking because I want to know more, but I'm scared to see the final price on this thing. And scared of the final price because I'm going to be tempted. I haven't had a Voltron in my adult life. I remember having one as a kid that were like these little rubber vehicles for that version of Voltron, but I've never had a lion Voltron. I skipped on the Mattels, I skipped on whoever else's, and then those other people, and then that other company. Ooh, like I said, nerve-wracking, you know? Okay, go ahead, pause the video right now, go over to the Boss Fight Studio socials, see if they have posted a picture of olive oil, because as I'm talking, I've checked, they haven't shown it, but it usually pops up as I'm editing, as I post this to Patreon, which was the case last week with castor oil. The best thing about this reveal is that it gives us some confidence that Boss Fight's in it for the long haul, because castor oil is a bit obscure. Throwing him into Wave 1, along with Popeye and Bluto and olive oil, will that be the case for every wave after this? Will it be like a variant of Popeye? Or a couple of other main characters, and then a deep dive? Sounds like a good way to get an awesome Popeye display in short order, you know? And since he's a smaller character, you might as well throw in Eugene the Jeep and Bernice the Wiffle Hen for some added value, right? Like I said, Boss Fight said they will be doing this every Friday. Today's Friday as I record this. Olive Oil's not up yet. Should be up very, very soon. Go over and check that out. And we'll swing back around next week and talk about that. Here's an odd thing. HobbyLink Japan posted a pre-order page for a Bandai Figurize Batman Amplified. Figurize means model kit. That means I'm interested. Well, along with the words Bandai and Batman. The page states that Amplified is a tentative name for the kit, but digging around, it seems like they use Amplified for some of their Digimon kits too, when it's more intricate in the movement or sculpt or something. And then the one teaser pic on the page does seem a little armored up. Almost Dark Knight Returns, but it's amplified, for lack of a better term. No size is given, so the $45 price point here could mean it's a larger scale than 1/12, because the 1/12 scale Common Riders are about $30, $25, $30, somewhere in there. Or the higher price could mean amplified with all extra bits, maybe accessories, maybe some movement that we don't see in standard model kits. It's odd that there's already a pre-order for it, but Bandai hasn't given them the full information. It makes me think I should pre-order it, because if it is awesome looking, will it sell out real quick? Will I miss it? I'm a sucker for marketing like this. Or like this, where they just show pretty pictures and I'm not even familiar with the company or anything, and I just go, ooh, what is that? I mean, it's big-ass wolves with saddles and armor. What's not to love? Besides the price, but we'll get to that. And I do mean big. These are about 7.5 inches from paw to ear, and then 14.5 from nose to tail. That's a big wolf. That's way bigger than 14 inches. We're talking about right here. Comes in 3 flavors. There's white, there's gray, and there's an artist proof that's unpainted in case you want to DIY it. Do it yourself it. But looking at the painted ones, if the final factory pieces come out looking like that, that's art. And that's coming from somebody who considers this whole thing we do art of some kind. I like the white with the subtle blue shading and the piercing red eyes, but it's the gray wolf with the dark color up on top that fades into a lighter one as you go down the body. That is absolutely beautiful. But at $190, it better be damn beautiful, because that hurts the wallet. It really, really does. I mean, it is a big chunk of plastic with some nice sculpting and some awesome paint apps, and then add on top of that with armors and the saddle that also looks really cool with the grooves and the leathers and the metal parts and the paint on top of that, but I think if it came down to it, I could do without those add-on bits if it cut the price down a little. Plus, I've only seen domestic pre-orders for this. Is the added price because they have to ship it in and then make a profit themselves? Where's the overseas pre-orders? Either way, if you're interested, these are up on Big Bad Toy Store right now, scheduled for October. The Animal Warriors of the Kingdom Kickstarter may be funded at this point, but that doesn't mean the reveals are stopping. Oh no, along with everything that they brought out with the Kickstarter, Jason is also showing us Wave 3 and 4, along with some teases. He's not pulling any punches. He's not slowing down. I gotta think at this point, if you have a certain animal that's your favorite, it's gonna end up in Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. For Wave 3, there's Kanji Arnab, the rabbit peasant. Mala is a magic user, and I think it was said she would come with effects. Some hyena horde for a little troop building. Wave 4 starts with Raving of House Horde, and I like how everything just blends together here. It's a cool design. Juniper and Fang-Torn Knight seem like an interesting pair. Savage Scale King Hannibal looks amazing and will be bigger than the rest. Speaking of that, the larger scale Thane from the Kickstarter is getting new promo pics as we speak, and it's still up for pre-order. Link is in the description if you want to go grab that. For sneak peeks, there's a lizard type character on the way along with another female, so it looks like we're in for the long haul here. Jason says the pre-orders for the new ones will be up on the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom store and then Big Bad Toy Store along with other online retailers. When it comes to the house that Todd built, a lot of you hit me up saying that I missed the reveal of the Avatar: The Last Airbender line, and to that I say, nay, I did not. Most of the new line he showed is 5-inch, and I have a hard enough time keeping up with 6-inch and a little bit of 7, you know what I mean? But Avatar will slip into rotation soon because he did show a 7-inch Zuko. The 7-inch line looks like it's styled and articulated like the DC Multiverse, while the 5-inch is cut back, a little bit more basic. And knowing Todd, we should know more about that very, very soon. Kind of like how we got more information on the McFarlane Toys Batman 66 line. According to solicitation, these are 1/12 scale, but they also get the axe when it comes to articulation. I think they're going for some kind of modern size, but vintage feel. Definitely marketed towards the nostalgia crowd. On top of that, they seem to be slightly McFarlane-fied, if that's a word. I keep doing that and I don't know why. But there's some details that look almost purposely off. Although, when you look at the back of the package, what looks like early prototypes seem to be more accurate to the old show. When it comes to Joker, though, on the back, not so much. But then you look at the figure and there's a lot of Cesar Romero there. The Batmobile is scaled down slightly, so when you stick Batman and Robin in there, they're sticking out further than we saw in the show. But again, that feeds into that vintage retro feel. Like when you were a kid, everything was kind of resized to get packaged, to get on the shelf, to get under a price point. But we didn't care, you know, you just... And that same feeling goes for the Batcave. It's actually a big plastic, almost case. It folds in on itself. And then the computers and the props and stuff almost seem 3 3/4 inch scale. It's pretty much the Castle Grayskull of this line. You know, the Castle Grayskull was never in scale, and it folds up, and it's kind of a carrying case playset type thing. Because he said the price point on the Batmobile and the Batcave is around $30, which is freaking amazing for something like this, even if they are slightly underscaled. But we all know Todd's baby is Spawn, and with this week being the big rollout for Spawn's universe in the comics, might as well do the same thing on the toy side. Even though we've seen all of these, this week got our full solicitations, our final looks at the figures like the Malefic fanfic Spawn from Mortal Kombat. It's just a different skin in the game that you can use. But then we got the full solicitation for Spawn Wave 1 too. We've also seen these before. We know the deal with the big buff Violator, and Clown is smaller, but he comes with that big old chunk of guns on the back. There's also Raven and Redeemer Spawn, and those wings aren't articulated like we thought they were. They're just chunks, but they look beautiful. But as we speculated, Gunslinger is exclusive to Target. Pre-orders were open for quite a bit of the day on the first day these rolled out, but it's since sold out along with Violator and Clown. But you can get the rest of the wave on Amazon and other places too. Raven and Redeemer are $25 a piece. Clown is $40, Violator is $50. And then when it comes to the McFarlane Toys My Hero Academia line, I feel like I'm being punked here. This week, Funimation revealed their exclusive Toru Hagakure, and it's essentially what we expected, but at the same time, it leaves you wanting a lot more. I get it. I really do. It's cute, it's clever, but I would have liked to seen some joints in the clear rods holding up the hands, to at least simulate some posability. And for those of you unfamiliar with My Hero Academia, she's invisible. That's her quirk. She's never been seen throughout the show. She's always invisible. I think I would have preferred something like this, with the stand holding up the torso, and then put some articulation in the midsection, at the shoulders, the elbows, you know, get some movement, and then the legs have ankles with socks above it, and then you could get some more movement while still showing the invisibility. It would have been more dynamic in the display with the other students and a little bit more oomph for your $18. But this is her school clothes. The rest, well, at least most of the rest of the line is in their hero costumes, and this is her hero costume. So it makes sense. On top of that, again, it is an exclusive. Funimation probably wanted something cheap and easy, and this is about as cheap and easy as you can get. Flipping over to NECA, they have fully revealed their Universal Monsters Wolfman. Oh, and he has nards. We'd seen teases and tiny pictures, but now that we get a clearer look at the whole thing, it's way more than anybody expected. I mean, the Larry Talbot parts that swap out at the arms, the legs, and the head, that's above and beyond. There's also the cane and the working spring trap. Well, I'd say working. I don't mean you put the foot in and I mean you probably push on the jaws to close it up. And then it took me way too long to figure out what the hell that other accessory was. Oh, it's a stand. I'm not used to seeing the peg right in the middle, but it makes sense because Wolfman is kind of standing on his tippy toes. He's got kind of that. I'm doing this and I realize you can't see nothing down here. You don't even know if I'm wearing pants. I've seen comments from people who probably know way more about Universal Monsters than I do that there's too much contrast in the face from the dark hair to the lighter skin. But that makes me want a black and white version of this even more, because you wouldn't have that problem. It'd just be black and white. $33 should release in November. Oh, but that's not all from NECA. They also revealed their Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1990 movie Shadow Warriors 2-pack. They have been teasing Oroku Saki and Hamato Yoshi for a while now, quite a while. So to finally see them in all their plastic glory, it's awesome. But when you get down to it, this is a very short scene in the movie about two humans that can either play shirts or skins, because it comes with those parts with the alternate arms and the overlay piece. And yes, these will be Walmart exclusive. It's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles release. It's going to be exclusive to somewhere. But again, this is kind of a very, very, very little snippet of the movie, so maybe there wasn't confidence in putting out a full run. Make it exclusive to somewhere. Well, make it exclusive to somewhere it's going to sell. Just because when you see it, you're like, hey, this is an exclusive. Holy shit, I don't see those things. Marketing. Said to hit in July or August. And then late last night, which is awesome with the Gargoyles line, because Gargoyles, they come to life at night. Why not reveal them at night? But last night they showed a short stop motion animation of Goliath going through the city, chasing somebody, and at the end we get a little tease of Demona. Pretty damn awesome. DGDX did an amazing job on this. Go check out his YouTube channel, and he also posted a picture comparing Goliath to Marty, and that's going to be a big figure. It makes me even more excited, along with the stop motion, you know? Hopefully we'll get a full reveal of Demona soon. As we've talked about several times, Hasbro is taking over the Fortnite series as of 2022, at least when it comes to 6-inch and above. But it seems like Jazwares has a bucket list of characters that they want made, and they're making a mad dash before the year ends. They're making the best with what they got while they got it. Preternia.com on Twitter once again has some sneaky peekies of some future Fortnite figures like Seeker, who, oh, I need him for kind of a background character, some fodder in the back of pictures and stuff. Same for Brawler Cyclo, who I think was on the press release when they announced that the license was ending, but to see it in plastic form and that he's going to add to my sci-fi shelf, he's a big astronaut suit, alien, robot type thing. I don't know. It could be anything for me, you know, not knowing Fortnite. But then Atlantean Fish Stick. I know Veeves is all over this one. I know I'm all over this one. It makes me want to get an Aquaman of some kind. Pair them up. Come, Fish Stick. It's outrageous. Hopefully these hit shelves soon, or one store online, or or one brick and mortar, and then the hits keep on coming, because 6 months. Super7 has been making the rounds on a press tour after the solicitation of their Silverhawks. Ultimates! But that doesn't mean we're not getting new reveals from other lines. There's also this glimmer of the Power Rangers Ultimates! You know me. I know jack about Power Rangers, but I have seen that Hasbro Lightning Collection Goldar at GameStop. That's the only time I've seen it in person. And looking at this seems a bit more refined. Now, I'm not saying better, just different. It's a different avenue for different collectors who want different things, different needs, different wants, different desires, different price points. But for the $55 price point, well, I'm assuming it's $55 price point, you are getting a lot of accessories here. I don't even know what the hell half these things do, but I do like the open mouth, roaring alternate head that you get, along with how the blue contrasts against the gold and everything. But that's the design from the show. I like it in action figure form, though. This is all we have at the moment. I'm guessing we'll see solicitations soon. Hey, remember when I mentioned Power Rangers a while back? A good 30 seconds ago? Well, Hasbro aren't resting on their spandex laurels either. And I know, laurels are here, but it doesn't work within the confines of the joke I wanted to make. Funny, huh? Anyway, last Friday, again, as soon as I posted the weekly, Hasbro posted pre-orders for their Power Rangers Lightning Collection Neo Cogs. And I don't know why I'm such a sucker for a pretty piece of plastic. I look at these with no connection or context, but because of the steampunkishness and kind of genericness of them, I feel like I could do with these like I do with Fortnite, where I just slip them in anywhere and they work. At least in my mind. The cogs are basic enough to use however you please, plus that head-raising thing where it shows the exposed parts of the eyes, that's just neato. Someone in the Monday Foosh Live chat said that these would fit right in with a Doctor Who display, and I can't disagree. I mean, it has that same aesthetic to it. $42 scheduled for November. Disclaimer, before we get into this little section of the weekly, I understand Transformers Shattered Glass. I know the concept, I know it's a thing. It's just me I just like to hack on it a little bit, because while I understand the concept, it still fries my brain when I think about it too much. Autobots as bad guys, Decepticons as good guys, the name doesn't even work there. And to make it a little bit more than color swaps to sell more toys, because that's what it essentially is, it's the same figures we already have, just in different colorways, I want removable goatees for every Autobot. That way I know for sure that they are evil. But that's just me, right? I mean, there are fans who have bought the recently solicited Hasbro Transformers Generations Shattered Glass Gold Bug. He's not even all gold! He's part blue, part gold bug. Okay, not for me. I'm just poking fun at my best good friend Dis Thunder for pre-ordering this, because I don't get it. I don't get it! Why? Why are they making these? Wait, do we even have a standard gold bug in the mainline? I don't have a gold bug. Did I miss it? Or is this here and then everybody buys this and then they sell us a gold bug? Is this how everybody in the Hasbro live stream feels all the time? Because I don't like it. $30 December, and I'm going to be honest, I was kind of tempted by this just because. Plus this Thunder showed me a picture of Soundwave with the headband and stuff. I'm going to have to get that. Revealed just now, and I do mean just now, as I walked in here. Hasbro, we've talked about this. You can't be throwing up reveals on Friday. I'm a busy guy on Friday. Do it on Monday. When I can talk about it on the live, come back around on the next weekly. Doing it on Friday, I have no chance to sit with the picture, to let it soak in, to collect my thoughts on it. Because looking at the Marvel Legends Loki series Sylvie right now, almost for the first time, it does look good. It has just a little taste of using concept art. There's a couple of things that jump out at me, but for the most part, this will work as Sylvie on my shelf. Plus it helps that I haven't poured over pictures of the character in the show herself. I don't know all the little details of the costume, but I will point out that, I don't like the candy cape thing. You can take that off, and without getting too heavy into spoilers, it will work that way, but I think I'm gonna have to go third party with a cape and a big hood, you know, kind of down over, looking all mysterious. Again, no information on this, just says in the fall. That's all we got here. Not ending on Hasbro, which is crazy, right? When was the last time that happened? We're going to move into even more Marvel stuff. Even though we've already talked about the Sentinel SV action Into the Spider-Verse Peter Parker Spider-Man several times. Kick-ass looking Spidey, option parts for the head and gut to make both Peter and Peter B. There's webs, there's hands, there's props, etc. etc. The sticking point for a lot of people, though, was the huge gargoyle head and, well, the price point. Overseas, the price for the whole set is $145. Domestically, it's $180, probably because they had no kind of distributor. They're bringing it in themselves. They got to add on the shipping charges. They got to add on a little profit. But this week, Bluefin announced that they will bringing in a third option. It's now being offered on all the online shops without the gargoyle head for $125. That's still a bit steep for a 1/12 scale figure, but if you didn't want that big real estate taking gargoyle head all up in the way, or you wanted a slightly cheaper price, there's this route. Realistically, it's another Spider-Man. We've had many made, there will be many more made, so if the price point isn't up your alley, you can skip this. I mean, there's the MAFEX version too that's, ooh, that's pretty packed too. Sometimes the price just isn't right. This releases January of 2022, which is about 4 months after the overseas release date. I think we're seeing the same thing right now with the GameStop exclusive Miles, where it keeps getting pushed back even though it has been released overseas. I started seeing pictures of the Kaiyodo Amazing Yamaguchi Deadpool over the weekend and thought, why is everybody talking about a figure that came out 5 years ago? And yes, it was 5 years ago. I checked the date. I think I reviewed it in October of 2016. Turns out the pictures were actually for a brand spanking new Amazing Yamaguchi Deadpool version 2. Looking at version 1 and 2 side by side, they both have the same feel, the same flow, like they were designed by the same artist. Kind of because they were. Yamaguchi is the artist working on this line. The line is named after him. The new one is a little bit more refined though, with more muscles under the wrinkles, or well, at least more muscle definition, and then deeper angles to the armor pieces and details. And yep, I'll admit, the same Revoltech awkwardness. As I always say with this line, you either love it or you hate it. They'll look like shit in neutral position, but absolutely magical in extreme action poses, even though it takes more elbow grease than your standard action figure. And even if you love them, they are still frustrating. But what is love without some frustration, you know? You can't have the highs without the lows. Tell me I'm wrong. I like that this time around we have options when it comes to holsters and pouches. They're all pegged, all removable, all swappable. You can put them wherever you want. 3 heads with the swappable eye gimmick, hands, loads of bladed weapons, including Mega Psy. And then 4 pistols, 2 small, 2 larger, and yes, they do look a little bit futuristic sci-fi, but when it comes to Deadpool, I'm kind of used to that in the comics sometimes, especially, was it Cable and Deadpool, where they had all kinds of big future-type weapons? At this point, I'm just happy to get anything with a trigger. About $80, drops in October. Finishing things off this week, and I said the rest was Marvel, but it's not, although the first thing is. In true Medicom fashion, almost like clockwork, they revealed their monthly pair of MAFEX figures. From the Marvel side of things, Avengers Endgame Captain Marvel. And when I first looked at this, I thought, oh, those blues are awfully blue, but it's hard to tell how blue the blues are in the movie. But like the rest of their MAFEX MCU figures, it does seem like they nailed all the details, so I'm going to trust them on the blues. And all that should be good since they wait almost 2 years after the movie release to get their Captain Marvel out, and their Captain America, and their Thors, and whoever else. Medicom doesn't care about that hype surrounding the release of the film. They'll go, we'll catch you later. The likeness isn't perfect, but oh, the swirly, twirly effects around the limbs is what got me. Plus how good their in-game Captain America was. I feel like, oh, I need the rest of the MAFEX stuff. Over on the DC side of things, though, here is your Batman Hush Harley Quinn. I'm getting the same vibe from their Hush figures as I am their Nolan trilogy. They didn't go deep, 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 but they gave us more than enough characters to make a nice display when it comes to that very specific grouping. Despite complaints, I do like the latex look of the costume, because in comics it's hard to convey, or hard to tell what the artist meant when it comes to costumes like this. I've also seen comments saying that the body is just reuse of the Catwoman, but I don't see that as a bad thing because I love that Hush Catwoman. Although the details of Harley's costume with the lines and the diamonds are sculpted in, so it's not straight reuse. Medicom doesn't tend to do that, even when it is appropriate. Remember Two-Face and Scarecrow? Both just plain suit bodies, but not the same sculpt. When I first saw this, I thought the head was off, especially with the danglies hanging off the side of the head, but going back to the comic art, I realized, oh, it is pretty damn accurate, and I think what was skewing my brain picture of it is the old DC Direct figure, where they were bigger, hanging down lower, closer to the face. The 3 facial expressions are a nice touch and adds to the accessory count because this being DC, they can't give her a gun, even if it's a big out of scale, silly looking play gun thing. She does come with alternate hands, the mallet, and spring shoes that you can swap out with the regular feet. Both are $80, scheduled for April of 2022, but we all know what that means. It's next summer, late summer, fall, whenever these decide to come out. And that is all for this week, which is a dumb thing to say because that's all. Good. I've been recording for a while now. If I miss something, we'll swing back around next week. Monday Foosh Live, the next weekly, whatever. If you'd like to see any of these pictures up close without me all... I can't think of anything. I'll be posting all of that along with links to pre-orders and more information on the Foosh front page Saturday at noon. Something not action figure related that caught my eye on Big Bad Toy Store this week was the Iron Studios Dungeons & Dragons Tiamat statue. Oh my god. That thing is crazy at 22 inches high, 22 inches wide, 22 inches deep. And it just makes me want action figures of that whole Dungeons & Dragons cartoon crew even more. I see questions all the time of what Hasbro is doing with their Dungeons & Dragons line with just Dritz being out there. Did it not sell well? Because we haven't heard anything about that line since it was debuted. But seeing all the characters from the cartoon in 3D form here, oh, it just makes me want to see full 1/12 scale figures with articulation and accessories, and yeah, give it to me. Of course, at 1/12 scale, Tiamat would be... Oh, thought I'd end on a happy note of, oh, we need more toys to talk about. If you enjoyed this Foosh Weekly, comment, like, subscribe. Much love to the plus. If you're interested in seeing videos early or just in a position to help out the channel, patreon.com. But wherever you may be watching this, I'll always catch you on the Foosh. Oh yeah, I probably should have promoted the next Foosh cast coming up this Sunday. Veeb's got a box of the Mattel Masters of the Universe Masterverse line stuff. He-Man, Skeletor, Evil-Lyn, Mossman, Battle-Cat, Skelegod. So we're going to be ripping into that about noon on Sunday. We're going to move it up a little bit earlier. If you're interested in that, that'll be on the Foosh Twitch channel and then my personal YouTube channel /RoboKilla.